if you want to go in a submarine, you want to be able to come back up to the surface. So it's not just being able to sink down, but also come back up. We're going to show you how to do that today with our very own Cartesian diver bottle.
So first you need an empty bottle. It really doesn't matter what size bottle you use. I wouldn't recommend the smaller water bottles, but anything normal size or bigger works fine. The important thing is that it is clear, so you can actually see your diver inside the bottle. You'll also need a bendy straw.
And some scissors for your bendy straw.
You'll also need some sort of modeling clay. We recommend ones that will dry and harden because you want it to be able to dry airtight. If it's still wet, it kind of falls off in the bottle and it doesn't really work that well.
So, in order to build your Cartesian diver bottle, the very first thing you're going to need is your bendy straw. And you want to actually bend it over all the way. Do you see how we have it bent and you can sort of see where it lines back up with the whole long piece of the straw? You actually want to cut your bendy straw right at that end, so that we end up with about even lengths on both sides. From there, you're going to cover it with your modeling clay.
Okay. When you're covering with the modeling clay, what you're actually doing is you are trapping the air inside the straw. The air is going to want to pull it up out of the water. The clay is actually going to weigh it down. That's important because you want this to be what we call neutrally buoyant. When something is positively buoyant, it floats right up at the surface like a piece of wood. If it is negatively buoyant, it'll sink down like a rock. Neutrally buoyant means when you put it in water, it kind of should stay exactly where you placed it. Not sinking, not rising.
And you can see that it's not quite down at the very bottom there, that it is floating about partway through the water.
Yep.
That's what you're looking for to check your diver to see if it's ready.
Now, once your diver is ready, what you need to do is you need to fill up your empty bottle all the way to the top. And I do mean all the way. When you put your diver in, water should spill over the edge.
So we have one here that we've already pre-filled. And you can see we have the water all the way up to the tippy top of the bottle. Now inside we also have a diver that we've already prepared. This one's made out of materials that are a little bit different. This one is actually a pipette with a little ballast nut on it.
There you go. Nope, it wants to do the ceiling.
Now as you can see right now, it is floating all the way up at the top there. But we can actually change that. Does anybody have a guess how we might be able to change what it's doing?
Tip it over the other way, then it's gonna go to the other side of it.
We might be able to tip it over and then it would move, but certainly, don't you think if it's still floating, it might just float on the other side then? We want to see if we can make it actually sink. What do you think we need to do to make it sink?
The water pokes away.
Well, the water is definitely going to help us do it. In fact, what's going on here is all about density and pressure. You can see here that we have a little bit of air that we trapped in our straw, like we said before, and the same thing goes for this pipette. There's a bubble of air up at the top. What happens is when we squeeze the bottle, water tries to push its way into the diver and makes that air compress and become more dense, so it sinks to the bottom. As soon as you release the pressure, the water is able to leave again, and the air can expand and take up its space. The diver goes back up to the top. And you can see we have it so that it stays pretty well in the middle there. Pretty cool, right?
Now you can add on to this if you want. You can dress up your diver, make it look like a sea creature, maybe draw a shark face on it, maybe some extra legs for it to be an octopus, or you can add maybe a paper clip and some loops down at the bottom or rubber bands to try to pick up the rubber bands using your diver. That's always very fun.